Living in my quiet suburban neighborhood had always been simple. I kept to myself, my property was well maintained, and my interactions with neighbors were cordial, until Karen moved in. Karen, as everyone knew her, had a flair for drama, a penchant for rules, and an unwavering belief that she could enforce them better than anyone else. The trouble began when she started targeting me. I hadn't done anything particularly notable, just lived my life, parked legally, and occasionally played music at a reasonable volume. But in Karen's mind, I was the embodiment of neighborhood chaos. One Thursday afternoon, after a minor dispute about a fence line, she did something I never expected. She called 911 to evict me. The dispatcher listened patiently while she rattled off her complaint. According to Karen, I had no right to occupy my own home. "They're trespassing," she insisted. "You need to send the police right now." I sat quietly in my living room, watching her frantic gestures through my window as the dispatcher tried to clarify details. The absurdity of the situation was staggering. She genuinely thought the police could evict a homeowner on the spot. When the first officer arrived, I calmly presented my ID and property deed. The officer's confusion mirrored mine. "Ma'am, this is your house," he said, gesturing to the deed in my hand. Karen's face twisted with indignation. "No, they've been causing problems for weeks," she shouted. I stifled a laugh, realizing that no amount of reasoning would pierce her conviction. Weeks passed, and Karen's antics escalated. She'd threaten calls, post notes on my lawn, and even try to monitor my comings and goings. It was exhausting, but I remained composed. I had a secret that Karen couldn't possibly know. I wasn't just a homeowner. I was a retired law enforcement officer, and my badge was still valid for official capacities. I hadn't flaunted it, but in moments like this, a little authority could be instructive. The breaking point came on a Saturday afternoon. Karen appeared at my front door, waving her phone and screaming about a supposed violation. "You can't do this," she yelled. "I'm calling the cops." I sighed, stepping outside with my badge clipped to my belt. "Actually," I said calmly, showing her the badge, "I'm still an active officer, and your behavior constitutes harassment. You're placing me in a position where I have to enforce the law against you." Her face went from smug to pale in an instant. You can't," she stammered. I was just—" "Step aside, Karen," I said, my tone firm but controlled. "You are being placed under a citizen's arrest for filing false reports and harassment." I could see the realization hitting her. She had underestimated me. Her attempts at intimidation had backfired spectacularly. I escorted her to my living room and calmly read her rights, something she had no idea I could do outside of official proceedings. The irony was delicious. The woman who had called 911 to evict me was now on the other side, facing the consequences of her own actions. I didn't need to involve anyone else. The lesson was clear. After a tense 20 minutes, Karen was released with a warning, embarrassed and shaken. She avoided eye contact for weeks. I, on the other hand, regained the peace I had once taken for granted. The street returned to its quiet rhythm, and I could finally enjoy my home without fear of unsolicited drama. The experience taught me an essential truth. People often overestimate their authority, especially when they perceive themselves as enforcers of rules. Karen had assumed her calls and threats would automatically grant her power over me, but she had no idea who she was dealing with. Sometimes being prepared and quietly competent is enough to restore order without losing your composure. From that day forward, Karen's attempts at control vanished entirely. She still prowled the neighborhood occasionally, but her confidence was gone. I could smile peacefully from my porch, knowing that justice, subtle but decisive, had been served. And in this quiet victory, I reclaimed not just my home, but the respect that comes from handling chaos with calm authority. Character count: 5,274, white heavy checkmark.